Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to set up themes using Total Launcher on your flip phones. Doing this process is going to it's going to take a little while, especially if you're planning on creating your own theme, um, as you've got to go through and make all of the images and all that sort of stuff, um, and then go through and set it up manually. If you're just looking at importing themes, pre-made themes, then it's a fairly simple process, and I'll walk you through that before we go into creating a theme from scratch. I'll already have the images set up, created for this theme that we're going to make. And to make the images, you can use any good image creation software like Photoshop, or even a vector-based program like Affinity Designer, and then you can just you can export those and import them onto the device itself. To import a theme, you'd want to go from here, hold down on the home screen, click on Menu, Backup Center, and then you're going to hit the three dots and Import Backup. Now, you're going to want to have the backup file, the zipped backup file on a computer. If you plug your phone into your computer and navigate to its internal storage, I have an SD card in mind, but the backup file that I used is on the internal storage. So if I go to the internal storage, the downloads folder, there's my backup file. It's a zipped folder. You'll be able to import that. So if I go to here, internal storage, download, here's the backup file. You'd just select that, and Total Launcher will restore all of the images and everything, all of the windows, and any settings that have been changed by the theme maker. If I go back to here, I can apply, for example, my Miku theme, and it will ask me if I want to restore the backup. This is what it will show when you go to import the backup as well. You keep this unchecked and tick OK. It'll restore everything and restart the launcher, and you'll have your setup. I can do the same thing with my... If I go back into here, I can do the same thing with my Melody theme. If I click on it and hit OK, it'll load it all in, and you're set up. For importing themes, that's it. You don't have to do anything else unless you want to manually go in and tweak things. If you want to edit the theme, all of the images are within the theme's backup folder. You can just unzip that simply by right-clicking. Where is my folder? If I go to here, internal storage, download, and I right-click, and I'll need to take it off of the flip phone, but you'll be able to unzip it and open the folder up, and all the images will be inside. It makes it way easier that they're not encrypted, and I guess it just makes it easier for you to edit. And any elements can also be moved around, so I can grab the bottom here and I can drag it around. Put that back. The clock here and everything is part of Total Launcher itself. You can add text and images and all that to your home screen. So yeah, if all you're wanting to do is get custom themes from the internet and load them onto your device, this is it. This is done. You don't need to do anything else. It's all set up. The only other thing that you would need to do for setting up the theme is setting up shortcuts, which can be done if I go into here, all apps, and I go down to Keymapper, this application here. This lets you set up different keyboard shortcuts, or different shortcuts for each key on your keypad. I mainly stick to using the 4 soft keys surrounding the central D-pad, as this is what the phone itself uses those in first-party applications to offer shortcuts within those applications. But there's no easy way, at least that I know of, to make use of those shortcut keys outside of native first-party applications. Thus, we use this method, which allows us to get around that limitation. They're not really the shortcuts themselves are not really being triggered by the soft keys. The soft keys are basically triggering and telling the Keymapper app that they've been triggered, and then the Keymapper app itself works out which key's been triggered and which action to take. So this needs to be running in the background, and as far as I've seen, both on testing on the KYF39 and the 31, it works just fine. It doesn't have any effect on battery life, and yeah, it seems to work like a charm. And you can set any number of shortcuts, and then the images that you create can have little either text-based or icon-based cues as to what each soft key will actually do. So if I hit the app's soft key, which is the bottom right soft key, it will open the applications menu, and if I hit the back button, it'll take me back. So after you've set up the hotkeys, that's pretty much everything done. You don't need to do any more for setting up a pre-made theme. I'll now take you through setting up a custom theme yourself. So if you go, you'll need to have, I'll re-initialize this, you'll need to have every image set up already to the correct size and, to the correct size and dimensions. But if I go, let me go here, cool. So we'll go through, long press, and we'll delete all but the third page here, so that we can still have access to all of our apps. First thing we're going to do is go into the settings menu, the launcher options, go under UI and animation, and we're simply going to enable hide navigation bar. This will hide the system soft key display from the home screen so that we can display our own. So if I go back out of that completely, we can now get to customizing and loading in our images. So if I go, I want to get rid of this dock, we'll tap and hold nearby the dock and hit the trash icon and get rid of it. Then we can add in our first image. This will be our custom soft keys for the bottom here. So we'll click the plus icon at the top and hit graphic, then image. We don't want the image to do anything on tap, as we're going to be using the shortcuts from the Keymapper app. So do nothing, and then image. And we'll add the image from the device's internal storage. So this, in my case, is the soft key image. So I'll click this, select it again, and now it's added the image. We'll resize it so that it's the correct size. And you can hit the little pen icon to be able to make sure that that images are the correct size by their numerical values. And it's almost the right size. We need 480 and 200. So now that's the right size. I'll drag it into position, right click to go back, and now we have our virtual soft keys. These here, again, can be designed however you like. They don't need to be designed in any certain way. You can design them in any way you see fit, and you can put whatever shortcuts you see fit on it. You could have the top two shortcuts be to apps. That you can have them to change the volume up and down. You could really do anything with it. Yeah. So now I'll grab. We'll go into, if you long press again and go to the menu and launcher options, and then if we go down to resources, window. Here we're gonna make a new window. You can kind of think of a window in Total Launcher as like an overlay over the home screen. It'll cover over the home screen and give you access to extra. You could have widgets or images or whatnot on it, and we're going to use it as, at least in this case, as our app page. So if we go and hit the plus icon, and I'll type in a name, we'll just go apps here. Okay. Now that's been created, if you hit the play icon on here, it's now opened the window, and this can be edited just like anywhere on the home screen. So if I go and hold down on it, you'll see that there's a bit of a border between it and the edge of the screen, between the background and the edge of the screen. If you hit the settings icon here and go down to show shadow, that will get rid of that. So now it stretches all the way to the edge of the screen, and it's looking nice and clean. If I go back to the settings for the window, I can set a background, and I'll set an image. I'll add the image, and it's this one here. And now if I go back, we've got our image here as our background. So I can close out of that, and I'll add the bottom and top navigation images for the apps page. So again, I'll go add an image, do nothing, image, add, and we'll do the top bar first. Cool, and we've added it. Now we'll just drag it to correct position and correct size. So again, we will hit the pen icon down there, and we'll just edit this to be correct. Cool. Now the top bar is in place, and I'm gonna grab this and copy it, and then paste it in order to make my life a little easier. So I can now drag this down here and simply change the image. And we will set it to the navigation bar at the bottom, for the bottom of the screen. And this one, I believe, is 100 pixels tall. Yes. So grab the pen, and we want 100 pixels, and then drag it to the bottom of the screen. And now we've got that set up. I do have an extra image that I can add. So if I go graphic, image, and we'll add another image there. This is just to show that you can place anything anywhere, and you can add whatever you like. Here's another Miku image. So you can add her down in the corner here. I'll put her down right there. So now she's down in the corner there. And the final thing that we need to do is, if we click the plus icon and click layout, then we can do grid, and here you can add your apps. Alternatively, this here will only show a certain number of apps. I believe you can also go widget, app drawer, and this will show you a full list of all of your apps, all of the apps that are installed on your device. This here is useful for the app page. As you can see, you'll be able to see everything rather than just certain apps, though a lot of my presets that I have set up will include a quick apps page that opens really quickly when you hit the shortcut from the main home screen. That will give you access to, I believe, 12 of your most used applications, so you can set those up. And then I've got an all apps shortcut from the quick apps screen that takes you to another page with every single one of your apps. The main reason I do this is, again, for speed, because if you try and load, when you hit the shortcut from the main home screen and you try and load a window with every app on your device, it doesn't take a long time, but it's a noticeable slowdown compared to just loading a small number of apps. So we'll set it up with the full page for now, but just know that that's an option. So we'll go here and we'll resize it, and you want to try and get rid of these icons. You can't actually hide them, or you can't get rid of them, but you can hide them behind. So if I go and stretch this out, you'll see that they're now, when the UI disappears, you'll see they're now at the bottom here, behind where the navigation bar is. So I'll actually use that to my advantage, and we'll go and grab where the navigation bar is, and we will bring it forward. So keep pressing the forward button, so this is bringing it forward in terms of layers. And we'll also grab Miku here and bring her forward. Now if I grab this and bring it back over, we've now got all of our apps here that are accessible. And if I go, I haven't set up shortcuts yet, so I'll go back into here. We can now access all of our apps that are installed on our device. And if you go and hold down on the app launcher grid and hit settings up the top here, you can actually change how many columns and rows you want. So I might up it to 4 rows. So now we've got a few extra rows that we can work with. If I stretch it out here, that looks a little more natural on this display. And so again, you can really do this however you like, and it's really up to you however you want to set it up. I'm gonna try and do more themes, designing around more different characters and themes and IPs, but I ended up doing Miku first, and then my melody to match the keychain that I have on my flip. But yeah, the only other thing that needs to be done is setting up a key binding or a shortcut to open this window. So if I go to the Keymapper app, I'll show you. Hello. I'll show you how to do that. So if I go to, where did I set it up? I set it up somewhere. Here. So if I go to here, I'll delete the current action, or I'll just change it. So you want to go edit action, and right down the bottom, under edit action, you've got window. If you click that, then you can select your window, and that will be what's launched or triggered when you press the key that you assigned. So now, when we hit the key, if it's set up properly. No, I'd have to reset up the key, but it would launch the window that we created. So what I'll do is I'll go and delete that. And from here you can put whatever you want on the home screen. So I like to add a clock, because I think a clock just makes sense having it there. So you can go text and do nothing, and then edit the text, and you go date time, and then we can go format, and we can set the format to the time, and now we have a clock on our home screen. So I'll go here, let me get a bit bigger, and I might put it down near the bottom. You might want to add, you may want to add a shadow dependent on your background, as sometimes the text is a little illegible, but this is the general gist of setting up something like this. It's not crazy difficult to do, it's just time consuming, and it also requires a little bit of tinkering at times to get things looking right and working correctly. But I think it's definitely worth it once you get it going, once you get it done. The other thing that I want to show is when you once you've created a theme, if you want to share it, you can go back to the backup center and hit the plus icon, which will create a backup of all of the settings and all of the images that you've used, including windows and all that sort of stuff. It will back up everything from the launcher and zip it up into a file similar to any of the backup files that I've put out. From there you can then hit, if you long press on it, I believe you can then export the backup, and that will create a zip file on your internal storage that you can then copy over to your computer and share. Yeah, it's not a crazy difficult thing. Again, it's just mostly time consuming. So yeah, I think that's about all that I had to talk about today. I hope this has been at least a little bit useful, and I hope that I'll be able to see some community made themes, because I think that would be a really neat for the flip phone community, because I see so many people using other launchers like Nova Launcher and Microsoft Launcher, where like they're fine launchers for a smartphone, but I just don't think that they're well set up or well equipped to be used for a flip phone. I mean, if you find a way to set Nova Launcher up, for example, to work well on a flip phone, that's awesome. But I just think that this here, once set up properly, works really, really well for a flip phone, taking advantage of the key-based structure or the physical keys that a flip phone has. But yeah, so if you create any themes, flick me a link in the comments and I'll check it out, because I think that'd be awesome. But yeah, until next time, bye bye.